Welcome to Discussion Sentai Loserger. I'm Loser Blue,
And I'm Loser Yellow.
and this is a show where we discuss the newest episodes of Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. Today we're going to be discussing Kamen Rider Zeztz Episode 4 and Gozyuger Episode 32. So, Yellow, what did you think about Zeztz Episode 4?
Zed's episode 4 was pretty cool. We're finally out of that first story arc, and we're getting a little more into what I'm going to assume is the formula for Zeds. So this week
Yeah,
was Protect the VIP Bride. We get a couple upgrades, we get a new nightmare. It's rad.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the show is entering its status quo, its general flow, I feel. You can notice I think the fight was a lot less big and bombastic compared to some of like those first 3 episode fights. The more like standard budget is starting to creep in. But this is probably how the show is going to be going forward. And that's fine because I liked this episode. Like I always knew those first 3 episodes were meant to like hook people, and as it went on, there was going to be a more standard level of quality.
Right.
Not that this episode was bad. I admit there's a decent amount of just like exposition, just another explaining things about how dreams work. We learn that because Baku screwed up the first nightmare, there are now more nightmares. They've infected a whole bunch more people.
Yes, you were right about it being contagious.
Yeah, not surprising. I have been kind of right about the nightmares pretty consistently. I guess I've just watched a lot of Rider. It's not really that hard to guess.
Wow, it's
But
almost like it's a show for Japanese children.
no, it's for me. It's definitely for adults. Now, so that's the way it's working, and I like that there's like a moment where a main character goes, "Oh, I screwed up because of me. It has gotten worse."
hmm
So like he is understanding the stakes of everything, which is good. He's not some super happy-go-lucky dumbass. He's a person that can think, which is nice.
So Nem's back again, this time as the wedding planner.
Yeah, so Neb is definitely some kind of dream entity. She's like probably the good counterpart to whatever Nox is. That would be my guess, is what it is. That she's some kind of like good dream entity and Nox is some kind of evil dream entity. Where that goes, who knows?
The
Because
more Nem's showing up, the more I'm thinking like she's definitely gonna be on the team, or maybe even a future rider, like maybe tertiary. I don't think secondary. I don't think that's in our cards.
no, I think I heard something about leaks of Nox becoming a writer at some point, but he would obviously be like an evil writer from what I could tell. Unless, I don't know, he has a reason for doing what he's doing and we learn that eventually, but that's rumors. I'm not sure. Like, there hasn't been like an official image or something.
No, he's the now I can fix him rider, just like Mad Rogue was.
Truly, I don't know. I mean, I liked that guy, but so yeah, Nev is going to be important, and she's going to show up in like every dream, and she'll have a different role, just like a main character. And there's going to be something expanded upon with her. What that is so far, I'm actually not fully sure. She's relevant, that's for sure. I guess the main thing I'm like curious about is why our main character spends so much time trying to really understand the dream so much, because really
Mhm.
all he has to do is destroy the nightmare.
Yeah.
He like barely needs to know what the dream is about or like the reason why. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand from a storytelling perspective, it would be boring if the main character just said, "I don't care. I don't care why you're having this nightmare. I'm just going to destroy the monster." That would be a boring thing. We can have character drama and human interaction if we understand why the dreamer is dreaming this way. And there's a decent misdirect with thinking it's the childhood friend, but it's actually the bride, which we learn at the end.
Is it really a misdirect though when last episode we seen a woman's eyes light up with the infection?
Well, I do agree that, yeah, when I saw the preview of the episode, I always anticipated it was the bride, and then when the episode was like so focused on the childhood friend, I was like, oh, I guess they were just showing a person getting infected, and then she wasn't. I was like, oh, okay, so I was right from the beginning. It was just a minor misdirect. I mean, that's fine. It's better than it would just the main character just immediately figuring out it's the bride, right? And we still learn basically everything we need to learn, sorta. We don't know
Yeah.
her perspective. But this is definitely leading into what I'm anticipating this series is going to work. I feel like a lot of this is going to be like two-parter episodes, very similar to like early post-decade stuff. You know, like WO's Forze, they all focused on like two-episode arcs where they would introduce the monster and the problem, and they would often resolve it in the next episode. And that seems to be what the show's doing, because the bomber was a two-episode thing. They don't beat the monster in this episode. It's going into the next one.
Right. Speaking of Forze, the lair definitely exists within the waking world. Now, is it like a portal, like the secret base in Forze, or is it just like he has a really big closet?
I'm not actually sure if it truly exists in the waking world. It could be a like an intersection of dream and reality.
Maybe, because like we had that scene where Baku was investigating, and then the dream fades away, and Baku wakes up.
Yes, and then he walks right into his closet. I understand
Yeah.
that. I'm saying like this is the dream world mixing into the waking world. And that's what allows him to go in there and also go there in his dream. Which I feel makes sense, because obviously, like architecturally, there wasn't a room there, and now there is a room there. If he's living in an apartment building, the apartment right next to him has just been cannibalized by this magic room that appeared out of nowhere, right? So it has to exist in like kind of a separate space. I guess it could be a portal, but I'm just assuming it's kind of like a weird magical, like it's a combination. Ultimately, it's really like a minor detail that you don't have to think about too hard, I don't think. He has some gadgets just to have.
Yeah, he got some cool gear.
He only uses one of them. He only uses the like detection one, right?
Yeah, he only uses the motion sensor.
Because I don't think he ever takes any pictures with the camera, and I don't know what the ID badge is for.
It's to say he's a cop, a dream cop.
What I would like some kind of weird secret agent ID badge thing. I would anticipate it's some kind of thing that he can just pull it out and like it turns into whatever ID he wants it to be. Like the weird magic piece of paper that Doctor Who has that
Mhm.
just shows whatever he's is like kind of saying it is. Like I'm a police officer, and he shows it, and then it shows up as a police badge or something like that. But again, it's just a gadget. It's just a toy to sell, I guess. We'll see if it ever actually gets like proper use. The detection thing got proper use, and that was good.
Sell them toys, Bandai.
We toys. I love toys.
Speaking of cool gadgets that Baku gets, Zero let him pull on the gacha machine.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not allowed to just like grab a million of them. Right? Why is he limited? Why did he get two this time?
That's a real good question.
Yeah, he got Wing and he got Stream, but he does not use Stream. He'll use that next episode for sure. Wing was fine. Like its suit is fine. It's just the base suit with a cape. It lets him fly. The flying scene was a little iffy at times. A lot of it was just like a CGI fight where
Yeah.
they like flew through the air and bashed into each other. But there were those really funny moments where they're just like really close to the camera, so you can't see their lower bodies to imply that they're flying. I found those to be kind of funny, like kind of cheesy. I liked it. But I think because of stuff like that, I don't think Wing is going to get a lot of use, right? You can't do like a standard ground fight. If you wanted to do Wing properly, you need like a lot of wire work, and I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to do that.
Oh, just break out the CG, bro.
It and Transform feel very CG heavy, and like they're still obviously using a decent amount of CG. You still see the like muscles bulging with impact and stuff. It's not like they're against doing stuff like that. I mean, Breiner's been using CG all the time for years, so like it's not that big a deal, and maybe they'll get more use than I'm thinking. But to be fair, these are all like beginning forms, right? Eventually, he's gonna get like a super form, and all of these are gonna get like thrown in the trash, effectively.
Oh yeah, for sure. We won't see him again after a certain point.
Yeah, after like episode 20 or something, they will just stop being that relevant. It's fine. They're meant to look cool, and they lead to some cool fights. I did like the flying fight. I don't think it was like spectacular or anything, but it was enjoyable.
I'm interested in seeing how this bad dream continues because it has now set the precedent that the dream doesn't have to end for a door to open.
Well, it's like something needs something that the dreamer doesn't fears, or like what they kind of wish for. Like it seems like the dreams are kind of like your darkest desires, something that you kind of want but you know would be bad, because that's what was going on with the bomber, right?
Right.
Fujimi was angry at the police. He was like, I darn you guys, blow it all up, I am so mad. But obviously he doesn't actually want that to happen. That would be really bad. So it's kind of our some kind of like base dark desires that are being turned into nightmares that make us go, oh god, I didn't actually want this. So in this case, it was her getting like flung out the window. It like disrupted the whole wedding and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So
So does this mean that she wants her wedding to be disrupted?
it's probably something along the lines of, it's probably like an arranged marriage that she kind of doesn't want, but also knows that she kind of has to go through with.
Hmm. And the childhood friend, like he has that hunch. Hey, something's suspicious here.
Yeah, so that's how I'm anticipating it is. It's like she's going, I wish this wedding would stop, and, wouldn't it be great if someone would come in and take me away? But I don't actually want that to happen. That would be really bad if someone came in and beat up everyone and whisked me away. Or something like that. And it would also be really bad, probably, for her father and stuff like that.
Because he's some sort of politician, right?
Yeah, he's like a politician, and the groom is the son of,
Like a
like,
conglomerate of some sort.
yeah, a big conglomerate. So that's kind of how I feel it's working. Again, we'll see more in the next episode. We haven't fully elaborated on all this, and we haven't seen her side of the story like at all. But one door is open. We'll see if next episode two doors open. I feel like he has to get a win this time. He can't let it go through, just as the first one where he like fully understands the stakes.
Yeah, I think he deserves a win, and probably
Yeah.
should get the win this time.
We finally got some more insight as to what's going on with like the police characters, and they are in the opening. So like they weren't like one-offs. They are definitely like full main characters that are going to be teaming up with our boy.
Yeah, they ain't going anywhere, and they're like, hey, I know who to ask about this. Number one suspect, Baku.
Yeah, so it definitely seems like they're going to be like true allies. It's not going to be like the biggest secret, I think. They're going to know because they clearly seem friendly in the opening and stuff. They're in like a movie theater at one point. I don't know
Yeah,
why, but that's fine. We get to see another example of the main character's bad luck in this episode.
yeah, a tree almost takes him out.
Yeah. The main thing with that is I want to know why he has bad luck, right?
It has to be some sort of like curse, or he's some sort of bad luck. There has to be a reason for it.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, you can have a character just be unlucky and that's kind of like a joke about them. But they're putting like a lot of emphasis on it, and it only happens when he tries to do good things. So it makes me think that it has to be relevant somehow. I don't know how though. I don't see it connecting anywhere. That said, there is something the Zero, when he talks about the bride and stuff, the dreamer, he says, so it's not someone you know, as
Mhm.
if it would be common, as if like he was expecting it to be someone the main character knows. Does that mean, is it kind of like an X-Aid thing? Is he like patient zero?
Ooh.
Is that why bad things happen to him when he tries to do good things? It's some weird, I don't know, karma a thing because he's actually like the originator of nightmares and bad stuff. Because again, Zero says it's not someone you know. Why would he say that unless he was expecting most dreamers to be people that Baku knows? And the only other dreamer we've seen is Fujimi, who interacted with our main character in some capacity. Obviously, he didn't really interact with him much before the dream, but they did kind of interact. Like, they were near each other in the hospital and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with that. It just felt like a weird line. Like, why did he say that?
Quite a few of the lines and events that are happening in the world I'm finding are quite weird. Like when the bombers succeeded and came over into the real world, we had that weird music and the butterflies came through. And Zero talked about it this episode. Like the world heard the weird chanting, singing noises that were coming through.
Yes, yeah. Apparently, other people heard that, and to be fair, like everyone was standing around, and the TVs changed and stuff.
Yeah.
It is strange that no one's commenting too much about that. Like there wasn't like a news report about it.
Maybe that's why the Paranormal Affairs division is operating unofficially.
Well, that is
They,
part of
they
the
don't want
reason.
to cover it.
That is part of the reason the Paranormal Affairs division is working. It was mostly because they couldn't explain the bombing, and the police chief was like, "No one could do this bombing. Maybe you're right. I'm not going to give you funding, but you're going to have to work. You're going to have to do it anyway." And Fujimi's fine with that. What do they do then? Like, what is their official positions if they're not the Paranormal Affairs division? If they don't have a case, do they just sit around doing nothing?
I'd love to be paid to sit around and do nothing.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. But whatever. That's again a very minor detail. We don't need to go into the exact working of
But you know what very
policemen.
minor detail that's rustling me up, getting me all riled up and angry?
Oh boy, what?
So the wedding dream begins and the wedding starts and an organ starts playing, but there is no organist.
Okay.
There is no organist at the organ that they intentionally put in the church set.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
mad.
I don't
There's
know.
no one sitting at the organ playing the organ music. All the budget went into the first 3 episodes. They couldn't pay an extra to sit at the organ.
He would have ruined the shot composition. Just wouldn't have worked.
Or, put like Nim sitting down at the organ.
Yeah, I didn't even really pay attention to that, so uh, whatever.
See, that's what you gotta
Honestly,
rely on me for. Stupid stuff like that.
to be slightly annoying. Okay, no, it's a funny little mess up, but I don't know. No one was actually playing the organ. They just had like a speaker system playing organ music. The
Yeah.
organs, the organs just for show. I now understand what the stupid like his hair standing up is, and because Nem calls it bedhead. I was
Oh.
like, is that what it's supposed to be? Is it just supposed to be bedhead? Because my bedhead looks a lot worse than that. But that's what it's supposed to be, I suppose, and I guess that's fine. It's just a minor little hair thing. It's not a big deal. I was just always wondering, like, why does he have that? But it's supposed to be bedhead, and that fits the sleeping theme, so it works. It's fine. So, like, my final thoughts is that you know this feels like how the show is going to work moving forward, and I was generally pretty happy with it. I think this episode had to do some exposition on stuff, and because of that, the bride story got cut a little shorter than maybe it should be. But that's not the biggest deal in the world because it's early. There's going to be more episodic episodes. One being a little more early game exposition heavy is not a big deal. So overall, I think the show's going to be good. I'm pretty happy with it so far.
I hope it continues
Well,
to be good.
oh yeah, I was just like, it's going to continue. I can't think of one that got canceled.
No, Kamen Rider's canceled. Kamen
True,
Rider's
yeah,
done.
it's over. Okay, so changing to Gozyuger episode 32. What are your thoughts on this, Yellow?
Yeah, speaking of brides getting cut a little short, this episode was was really good. We're deep into plot now. This is the wind up to the climax of Number One Sentai Gozyuger. Yeah, it's only episode 32. We probably have like 16, 17 episodes left to go. But wow.
Yeah, it feels like this episode, the plot has finally started kicking. People are learning the secrets of each other. Things that have been kind of slowly building up in the background are finally starting to move forward. Why did we think Ray was Blue's brother? Did they explicitly call him his brother at any point?
I think Blue said that he was like a brother at some point, and we just kept thinking, oh, it's his brother.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, because this episode is they're not brothers at all. They're just like good. They were good friends growing up.
Yeah, they were good friends,
He's
and Ray lived nearby.
yeah. I don't know why we just kept saying that they were brothers. Whatever. That's very minor. Black Unicorn Sumino. I keep changing what I call people.
Yeah.
Finally puts all the pieces together and confronts him. So that's finally out in the open, which is good. I sometimes hate when those secrets build for too long. And we start moving into like the actual end game plot. What feels like the real villain faction is beginning to show up,
Yeah.
which is the Calamity, which is obviously how Ray got his ring. That has to be it, right? The
Well, it
Calamity
has
gave
to
it to
be.
him. And the Calamity just wants to destroy everything. They are a force of chaos and destruction, seemingly. And they quote unquote work together, which is just I don't know, it's a weird way to phrase it, because it's just like, yeah, the enemy worked together to do what? But that was when they mind controlled Shining Knife.
Yeah.
So that's more what they were getting at. Yeah, so it seems like, the Calamity is like a force of destruction, and Take a Sword is like a force of like creation and trying to preserve the worlds. And like Take a June is like an artificial Take a Sword that was meant to kind of like usurp that role and make the world more perfect in her eyes, I guess. But clearly Take a June doesn't like the Calamity either. So I feel that eventually we're gonna get like a Take a Sword and a Take a June team up against Calamity stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
against our boy Cladis.
Yeah, that's a weird name. Gladys. So I like that we're finally moving to something, and like the Calamity also wants the rings, clearly,
Yeah.
because Ray is collecting them. So that ties more into the whole war and the collecting rings, which is good. Because I always felt like the No Ones really had nothing to do with the rings. They were just there,
Yeah.
right? The Bryden and all that stuff just was like, they existed and they were a nuisance, but they had nothing to do with the actual main plot.
As someone
But
said once, a lovely detour.
yeah, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed all those like dumb little side plots with the No Ones, but they did kind of just aimlessly show up and mess around for a bit.
Time for a dumb number one battle.
Yeah, but now I'm curious if the Calamity is going to be like a few generals, or if they're gonna have their own monsters of the week.
I'm thinking it's gonna be a couple generals, and that's it. Looking at the strength of Bellum on their own is
Well,
leaps and bounds further ahead than any no one they've fought.
it could be something like the Calamity are gonna somehow like co-opt the No Ones, like
Mm,
corrupt them. Like the No Ones are gonna come in, take over a human, and then Bellum's gonna show up and like make it extra evil.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know how big the Calamity is really going to be in terms of like just how the episodic episodes go, or if maybe we're kind of done with being heavily episodic. We're going a lot more serialized going forward.
Whichever way we go, I'm all in for it at this point.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. I'm curious. So obviously Ray is full Calamity boy.
Yes.
But Kuon, uh, Garudo, he obviously works for Tega Jun, who doesn't like the Calamity, but he's very evil, right?
Yeah.
He's pretty bad. So how's that going to work? Will he flip to go Calamity? Will he get a redemption? Will we learn that he was secretly the goodest boy and he was only pretending to be garbage?
Oh, Kuon's definitely not the goodest boy. He was never pretending.
We'll see. Sentai has pulled something like this before. Recently, it happened in King Osier. There was a guy who was just absolutely evil, and eventually we learned that it was all kind of for good. But
Like
whatever. We don't have.
maybe Kuon is corrupted somehow. Maybe it has something to do with that scar on his back that's
Oh
shown up
yeah, that's true.
once.
I forgot about that. I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that one. They never explain Ray. They say Ray has like a terminal illness. They never explain any of that, like how he got that or why.
Yeah, they didn't explain any of it yet. All we know is
Or
he has a terminal disease and he kidnapped Oto to experiment on the disease.
yeah, does she have it too?
Did he give it to her?
Is that why she went comatose? Is because she got the disease too? Honestly, I'm half expecting the disease is a lie by like the Calamity. It's making him think that he has a terminal disease to make him evil. Some weird, messy thing like that. Who knows?
Yeah, but wasn't it like Rikuo that said he had the disease?
Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
I trust my boy Blue.
Yeah, but Rikuo said that Ray told him that. I think
Right.
so. Like it could. Ray thinks he has a disease, and it's some weird corrupting force. Like maybe there is something wrong, but it was like injected in him by the Calamity to kind of make him evil.
What's with these Japanese labor laws? Like firing him because he got sick. It's like, oh, you can't be number one doctor anymore. Goodbye.
I guess it was because he was a surgeon and he got stabbed in the arm. Maybe it like tore a ligament or something, and he literally can't use his hand properly anymore to like hold the scalpel. You wouldn't want a surgeon with like whose hand is like completely shaking all over the place and can't cut you very well.
You're right. You're right.
Now that would prevent him maybe from being a surgeon, but he could probably still be a general practitioner at that hospital. So I admit it's still bad. Uh, Yellow's father is still trash, and we don't like him.
Oh yeah, he is not a nice man. Mr.
No,
Head Doctor, owner of the hospital, or hospital director, that's what it is.
he might own the hospital too. They were like a very rich family.
Yeah, well, it's the Bakugami Hospital, so.
Yeah. So yeah, that's like the main. I think that's like the main thing with the Calamity. There's like the side plot where the perfect couple is fighting. Mr. Shining Knife and Miss Sweet Cake are having
Can
a
you
having a
blame them?
divorce.
Sweet Cake used shining knives, antique knives for eating. They were for display purposes only.
She was just trying to stir his natto. I mean, like, what's the big deal? It's just a knife.
But they were a collectible, Brew.
I'm not actually going to pretend to have this argument with you. I do. But no, it's
But
it's
it got
funny.
bad enough that they wanted to break up.
I like that they go to a divorce attorney. It's very funny. And he's confused because there's a monster in his office. They try to get literally cut down in half.
Yeah, that
It's
didn't
very,
work.
yeah, very funny. And then we get to
Those
see
the children should have been able to rip them apart, though.
yeah, truly, they have the strength. We get to learn their minor backstory, which is literally just that they existed and they fell in love.
And then they became one.
Yeah, a bit weird, but they seem happy with it, so that's all good, sort of, until the end.
Yeah, and when Ray turns into Bellum the Battlefield, awakens something deep within Shining Knife, and then he kills Sweet Cake.
Yeah, he activates Shining Knife's his sleeper cell like codes, and then yeah, he just straight up kills Miss Sweetcake. with like these weird black tentacles that like sucked out all the energy or like injected some kind of poison that just straight up killed her. Crazy.
That was not on my bingo card for this week.
No, I was not expecting her to die. I was not expecting someone to die at this stage. I was expecting it to be a dumb comedy side plot. But you know, I'm glad it has relevance. I'm glad there was something of consequence that happened. We'll see if it actually maintains consequence, like if she comes back or not, right?
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for them to bring people back to life.
I don't think it's gonna happen for a while though. This they're gonna have to hold on this.
I hope it wouldn't happen immediately, but it might. Remember, Yellow was gone for 2 episodes.
You're right,
not
but
not
he's a
even.
main character. He's part of the Sentai team
You're
because
telling me that Miss Sweetcake isn't important? Get out of here.
that's not what I mean. We all know that they're one of the most important characters on the show, even if they're not the best villain.
At this point, I barely view the Bryden as villains outside of Kuon. And I feel like the show is actually going to lean into that. Because I think the Calamity is going to be like the real villain.
Yeah.
And the Bryden are going to be reluctant allies at some point. And they're going to work something out.
Like, we've already built up that the Bryden aren't that bad. That Bouquet is just she's a blue fangirl. And Fire Candle is the most based character in the show.
Truly.
Take a June, we have to see. But in the end, I think Bryden as a whole will definitely be allies.
I feel that good Burn is gonna bring his parents together, and he's gonna mend the rift between them.
Stop fighting, Mom and Dad.
Maybe that would be good. Maybe that's a way to make Polar relevant at all.
Yeah, Polar still isn't relevant.
Now, to be fair, he does say like you guys are still around, so that implies that the Calamity was around during like the first like Ring War.
Yeah.
That means that first Ring War, there was more to it. The Calamity was there, and probably the whole point of collecting the rings was to power up Tega Sword to defeat them.
Yeah.
And also, like, as an enticement, the wish was there. So, I'm glad after 32 episodes, the plot is finally starting. Feels good.
The plot's here. It's great.
Plot's here. We'll see. Like, I feel like next episode we'll have to continue this. Like, it can't just be another random number one battle.
Oh no,
It's
for sure it won't. But we've seen in the preview for next week, whoever is getting a new power up.
yes, I have seen that power up. Initially, when I first saw images of the power up, I was like, oh boy, another power up for Red. Woot. I tend to really dislike like heavy red focus in a
Yeah.
lot of Sentai shows. Luckily, later scans showed up. Everyone can use that power. It won't be just Red.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those like it's not a team power up in the sense that they all use it at once. It's like it's a power up everyone can use. They can all put on that weird armor. So that's good. I'm happy with that. I do prefer like full team power ups. Like if there's a power up I like when I don't know, the red does something and they all get like accessories to make them more powered up. Because the thing I like about Sentai is, yeah, it's a team. That's kind of why I sometimes hate super heavy red focus. I kind of like when everyone gets good focus. And I'll admit, Gozyuger has not been amazing at giving everyone focus. Green, like, never does anything.
Yeah, Green is kind of getting left behind in the dust a little bit, in regards to story at the very least.
Yeah, he has good moments, and I do like him. I think he's a fun character.
He's a lovable goofball.
Yeah.
I
But
guess that's what you get for being 89.
yeah. But he is not very relevant plot wise at all. Right? Everyone right now has some kind of connection to someone who's relevant plot wise. 3 of the team members are connected to Ray. Red is connected to Kuon. Polar is also kind of in the background right now, but we'll
No,
see.
he knows about the Calamity at the very least.
Yeah, he knows about the Calamity. He is connected to take a sword in that way. So everyone is like connected to the plot somehow, except for Green, who's kind of there. Maybe something will come of it, or maybe he'll just be kind of a funny guy that's around. That'll be disappointing, but what can you do? Blue loses a ring this episode, which is nice. I feel like rings should be swapping more often.
Yeah. I didn't even notice Blue lost the ring. I was too busy taking notes.
No, when Blue turns into a Zooger, he blocks the shot,
Right.
saving
Yeah.
Black, and at that point the ring falls off and Bellum picks it up. So he's like lost that ring. Which again, good. I feel like rings should be swapping more often. The rings just kind of exist. I feel like they're not used enough in this show, right?
Yeah,
As a
they need
plot
to be used
device.
more. Like Kuon's using them at the very least.
Now, to be fair, I don't want them actually used that much because I'm really tired of turning into previous Rangers. It
No,
it does
like
bore
just
me.
use them the same way that Kuon is. Just summon in a new ranger.
I feel like they should have just had like a power or something like that, or summoning like a weapon instead of just transforming. Because again, I'm just tired of that. It's not interesting to me at all. But whatever, it's minor. The next episode, it looks like everyone's going to transform, according to the preview. Like, people are transforming all over the place in that one.
I think next week's gonna be rad.
Yeah, I hope so. I really feel like they shouldn't have all transformed into Reds. I think that really ruins it. The fact that it's always Red.
Yeah.
I understand that Red is the main character, but again, I sometimes get annoyed about that.
I don't know, bring in like a purple or something.
Well, I just feel like they should turn into the one they are, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
If Blue uses a ring, he should turn into the Blue Ranger of that Sentai.
Yeah.
Not Red. This does limit it somewhat because not every color is always used. But you know what? Gokaiger dealt with that, and they did it fine. If someone didn't fit the right colors, they just turned into a different one. It wasn't a big deal. And they're still wearing their like chest piece that shows their real color anyway. So it's
Yeah.
good. The final thing I guess to mention is that Shining Knife, he wakes up from turning evil temporarily.
Yeah.
And he is distraught that he has killed his wife.
Yeah, he's absolutely devastated.
Fair enough. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see where he goes from there. I really hope it's not that he just kind of goes crazy and goes back to being evil and they just destroy him. Right? I hope he either eventually they somehow bring Sweet Cake back, or he somehow learns to deal with it and decides he really wants to defeat the Calamity or something like that.
Yeah. I don't think Shining Knife should be a villain in like an actual threatening villain. He needs his redemption arc, and Sweet Cake needs to come back at some point.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, again, I said I just don't really view the Bryden as villains that much, except for Kuon. They all kind of seem like good guys that I kind of like.
Now
Right?
here's Loser Yellow's lock of the week. Shining Knife wins the ring battle and wishes his wife back.
I mean, that'd be funny. I don't think so. You know, we need a way to bring Green back into the plot. Green sympathizes with Shining Knife because his wife is also dead, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Green wins the ring battle and decides to use his wish to bring Sweet Cake back for Shining Knife.
Dude, that would work so well.
It'd be funny.
Like Green's already becoming Shining Knife's homie, as seen in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fun. It would give him a character to connect to because he's still pretty separate in a lot of ways. He's obviously friends with all the Gozyugers, but in terms of the Bryden, Bouquet is connected to Blue, Fire Candle is connected to Red, and Kuon is also connected to Red. So, the Shining Knife and Sweet Cake aren't really connected to any particular character. Like they're not like attached in any way. They've
Yeah.
always been a little separate. So if they attach with Green, I think that could work. I could live with that. Again, I just want him to do something. I just want Green to be relevant because I like him. Honestly, at the end of the series, I'm half anticipating they're all gonna get a wish somehow,
Yeah, it's not out of the question.
or just their end wish is using all the power to defeat the Calamity, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a pretty basic thing that I would not be surprised if it happened. So anyway, that's been this week's episode of Discussion Sentai Loserger. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Really appreciate it. And we hope you'll come back next week. See ya.
Bye.